Welcome to Journey TV. I'm your host, Yvette Craddock. Journey TV is a series of programs dedicated to exploring cultural diversity in the corridor. Each episode features the personal stories of local residents who share their challenges and contributions to enrich the corridor's cultural climate. They share their stories with the intention that we collectively increase our understanding, acceptance, tolerance, and respect for each other. Their personal stories may be their individual journeys, but their individual journeys represent those of many. We are the many.
Relocation was specifically for the position.
Very good.
I wanted to be in Iowa.
Their reasons for moving to the corridor vary, but every day their numbers are increasing. Who are they? They are the millennials and our future. The corridor's ability to attract, recruit, and retain them is paramount to stopping the brain drain. Let's take a journey into the lives of 3 emerging millennial leaders to discover why they have chosen the corridor over many global options.
If you've been there a long time, you say Kilcuck.
If you don't know where that is, it is a small town on the cusp of the southeastern Iowa-Illinois border. Although Jonna Purcell has crossed a few state lines during her time, she finds herself right here in the corridor on purpose.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of getting to live in quite a few different places. I left Keokuk for college and ended up in Searcy, Arkansas. It's small, just a city of about 20,000 people in northeast Arkansas for 4 years for college. After college, I lived in Quebec City for a short time. My parents had moved up there while I was at university, and so I was able to visit there throughout my college years, which was great fun. It's a great city and a great province, and I love Canada. And so I moved up there for a few months following my graduation, and then moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where I was for almost 3 years, working as the manager of a local bakery, along with a couple other opportunities down there. So along with that, I've had the opportunity to travel quite a few different places: Australia, South Korea, France, New Zealand, Switzerland.
After such extensive international experience and existing in a variety of different cultures, it was only natural to inquire as to why Jonna chose to return to Iowa, and in particular, Cedar Rapids.
That's a good question. I got that question as I was getting ready to leave Nashville. I had one memorable conversation with someone who was trying to get me to buy a membership card to a video store, and I said, well, actually, I'm moving in a few weeks to Iowa, and he goes, why?
I call that the look.
The look. I got the look quite a few times.
Where's that? Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't, they thought it was Idaho or Ohio, or had just never heard of it, so I certainly got that question quite a few times. But I was just ready to, I set out in life to experience as many places as possible, and I had found that as I was living away from Iowa, having grown up here and then moving elsewhere, I was constantly telling people about how great Iowa was. And so as I was getting ready to move to a new place, I decided that I should also apply for jobs in Iowa, because if I talked about it so much, I might need to back it up again.
Right, make good on your promise,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So I applied for quite a few jobs in quite a few places, and was most attracted to the one here.
Was there anything else that attracted you to returning?
Yes, I was very excited when I thought about moving back to Iowa. The Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, the corridor area was very attractive to me because of the opportunities here, and I see the area as a very growing. It's growing in a lot of ways, culturally, job opportunities, even just population. So that was a very attractive area to come. As I was considering moving back, this was certainly where I wanted to be in Iowa.
Besides the tremendous growth opportunities, Jana shares a few highlights about the area that make her wake up with an extra smile.
I love the architecture in Cedar Rapids. I think that Cedar Rapids does a great job of capitalizing on the beautiful old buildings that are in downtown and elsewhere, even just the age of the houses, and that they're still being used instead of just torn down and new things being built. I love that. Just the number of things happening, the interesting things that are going on. One of the things I've really enjoyed getting to know about the corridor is you kind of have to cast your net a little broader. All of the little towns around have something really interesting about them. And so there's just this opportunity to explore and find some festival or some art event or some concert series.
According to Jana, a willingness to explore is a great conduit for meeting friends, finding new interests, and participating in activities. She began her corridor journey by searching for an interest near and dear to her heart.
I'm very interested in literature and I love libraries, and so I contacted the library to see if they had volunteer opportunities. And through that have found, you know, anytime you have a group of people, you're going to strike up a conversation and learn something about the area or something about an opportunity.
Yeah. When you accepted your job, did they do anything in particular to make you feel more welcome and immediately assimilate to the corridor as your new home, personally and professionally?
My job is with the Community Corrections Improvement Association in Cedar Rapids, but I'm working as an AmeriCorps Vista. And so the VISTA program is a very neat program, and they make a point of kind of extending that extra welcome mat, having there when you come in as a group with your fellow Vistas, and whatever nonprofit you're placed with, they do an orientation with the whole group and provide a lot of opportunities for you to ask your questions about housing, to help you find housing if you need some assistance with it. And they do a lot of things to make your transition easier, so I kind of got that extra AmeriCorps perk there with that introduction to Cedar Rapids. There's so much growth and development happening in the corridor, and I'm most familiar with Cedar Rapids, so areas like New Bohemia, that they're getting such neat things. They're getting, you know, some new bookstores and coffee shops and the kind of places that people in our generation enjoy.
Sure.
And I think having housing near those growing areas will be so important over the next few years. Our generation really loves the walkability of cities. We just mentioned that. Being able to just walk or bike to these different areas, I've felt very welcomed by the city, and there are so many neat opportunities, and I think that that's all going to just become better over the next few years, all of the exciting growth that's happening in Cedar Rapids, and I think we'll just continue to improve those opportunities.
I don't know Iowa before. I don't have my friends. I don't have anyone who knows Iowa. So they're like, where again?
Monsa Chinnery's newest location may be a mystery to her family and friends, but it is one that she consciously chose for a new personal and professional chapter in her life. Monsa is originally from Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, India, a city with a population of about 8 million people. It was there that Monsa began dreaming about new life experiences and opportunities. Cedar Rapids and Hyderabad are two cities that are worlds apart in size, culture, and proximity, but Monsa is accustomed to effortlessly managing new environments. She has lived in several U.S. cities and most recently relocated to Cedar Rapids from Houston. So you took the plunge and submitted your resume and application.
Yes. I have submitted my resume and application, and I got a call. And when I got a call, I don't even know where Iowa is. But yeah, it was really interesting. I had to pull off the car and see, oh, where is Iowa on Google Maps.
Someone as courageous and adventuresome as Monsa is bound to have an interesting life journey. Her positive beginnings in Cedar Rapids can be traced to her employer, Alliant Energy's recruitment process that includes key attractors for millennials. Are there any distinct considerations that Alliant Energy makes in recruiting millennials in particular?
There are no specific guidelines. The discussions we've had internally seem to focus on the fact that millennials are dedicated workers. There certainly are benefits from having people from diverse backgrounds from a personal level, but from a purely practical level, in today's education system, about half of the graduates from engineering schools around the U.S. and around the world come from diverse backgrounds. So to find engineering talent, one would certainly exclude many talented people if you did not go after diverse candidates.
Describe the steps you took to ensure Manas's relocation was successful.
Well, first of all, I employed the employee resource group to talk to her and help her find an apartment here in the Cedar Rapids area. As we got closer to the due date, I realized that she was going to arrive the week between Christmas and New Year's to start the job. And unfortunately, many employees are gone that week on vacation or whatever. And so one thing I did was assigned an employee buddy, one of our engineers named Margaret, who's just 5 years out of college herself. And Margaret related to Manasa right away. And one of the things that came out of that is Margaret was hosting a New Year's Eve party. And I was concerned that Manasa would be stuck in a strange town, been here 3 days, worked 3 days, and then have a long 3-day weekend and nothing to do.
Sure.
And so we got that arranged, and I think she had a good time.
How have these extra steps impacted her acclimation process?
I think she feels that even though she'd never heard of Alliant Energy or probably Cedar Rapids, Iowa before she applied for this job, she felt that she just wasn't a grain of sand on the beach among many applicants, that we treated her as a person that we were interested in, and showed her a few things, not only on the job, but things that she could do off the job that would be of interest to her. So I think that was valuable. And talking to her since then, that she confirms that that did make a difference.
Do you find that going above and beyond in some respects, from a perspective of other employers, is beneficial to retaining talent in Manasa's case and outside of her case?
Yes, I think it is beneficial. Recruiting to Iowa is sometimes a little difficult because it's not the most prominent state in the United States, and the cold climate here scares some people away. And so I think it certainly behooves us to make an effort, not just to say, well, here's the job, take it or leave it, but try to interest people in this area and let them know that it is an interesting place to live and work.
What tips can you provide other corridor employers to recruiting and retaining top human capital based upon your 30+ years of experience?
Put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you were coming here from another part of the country or another part of the world and had never been here before, what would you feel like? What questions would you have? And perhaps what concerns might you have about coming to Alliant Energy in eastern Iowa? And so having done that, then you can answer some of the questions or think about them before they're even asked, and reassure the person. So I'd recommend that approach to other recruiters and managers. Put yourself in that person's shoes, and I think that will go a long way towards helping smooth the process.
The simple act of taking the time and expending the effort to put ourselves in someone else's shoes goes a long way. What were your final deciding factors for accepting the position here at Alliant Energy?
While at that point of my career, I have to make a decision to pick a right opportunity for me. At the same time, I want to do a justification for what I'm doing. And as a graduating engineer, I kind of had an opportunity to get interviews from various companies, and I have visited a lot of companies, and I had so many good opportunities. And it was a tough task for me to pick the Alliant Energy's opportunity. But I should say, I picked Alliant Energy because, of course, the fantastic relocation support they have provided me. And the major factor, I would say, is people. They are very loving, very welcoming, and warming, very fantastic. It's more about, you know, when I went to other companies to get interviewed, it is all about what you are going to do for us. When I came to Alliant Energy, it is more than that. It is about what Alliant Energy has to provide me, what Cedar Rapids is offering me, what Iowa provides me. So I love the way it felt. Wonderful. So I'm like, without any question, for the rest of the jobs, maybe I took at least a week or two to give my decision. I just make a decision in 2 hours, and I'm happy I did.
Monza's passion for life transcends typical safety nets, such as having a strong group of friends or relatives around her at every destination.
I mentally had a plan. When I'm moving in, I'm like, okay, I don't know anyone, and I cannot be sitting in my home, in my couch, and watch a TV and make a disgusting life. I just cannot do it to myself because I'm all by myself. I feel lonely if I do that. So I had a plan, I had a workout plan. I work out each and every day, and I hate to just do the same workout every day. So I go running, I dance, I spin, I cycle, I hike.
Everything. Do you have any other advice for someone who might be relocating to the corridor? Whether it's Cedar Rapids or Iowa City or anywhere in between?
It's a fantastic area, and all that you need to do is make a little effort to look what the city has to offer you.
I was born in Des Moines, Iowa. I just recently transitioned to Iowa City from Waterloo, Iowa. I was in Waterloo, Iowa probably about 8 to 9 years, undergraduate and work, then working full-time at the University of Northern Iowa. Then I transitioned to the University of Iowa last September as Assistant Director of Admissions at the University of Iowa. So I'm still relatively new. I just moved down here in December. So.
Well, welcome to Hawkeye Country.
Yeah, thank you.
From the Cedar Valley. Cyrus Nichols is an accomplished native Iowan. His full life runs on all cylinders and encompasses his thirst for adventure, travel, entertainment, education, sports, and more. Now, when you relocated, did you know anyone, or was the relocation specifically for the position?
The relocation was specifically for the position.
What other services or experiences have you been looking for that you might not have found quite yet?
I work out a lot. You know, I like to stay involved. I have a very competitive nature, so maybe like, you know, flag football or softball or just something to keep me active, you know, serving some other young adults. You know, maybe a good place to listen to some live music, you know, a good social atmosphere with some, you know, younger adults, just to kind of sit back and have some fun, do that type of stuff.
So quite not the bar scene, but
Exactly.
something like a little in between. It's
Right.
that in-between experience, maybe a little bit loungy.
Right, a little bit lounge, a little more low-key, you know, not like that. I've been there, done that with the college side of it, so I'm trying to, in that transitional period, you know.
Although traveling for work has consumed some of Cyrus's adjustment period, he has been able to find people and activities that he enjoys. If you didn't have your coworkers, how would you go about accessing that information?
Probably the internet, you know, or my neighbors. I have some neighbors who are very friendly, so talk with them, say, hey, what do you do? Because I don't have any children, they all have children, so trying to find someone who doesn't have children to hang out with. You know, I don't have any kids, so that part of it as well too can be challenging to hang out with somebody, because I have a lot more free time than they may have as well too.
Cyrus's time management is remarkable. He has a demanding full-time position, travels for work and fun, and is on point for achieving another meaningful goal. You are completing your master's next spring, correct?
Yep, May 2013, my master's will be complete in post-secondary education, student affairs through the University of Northern Iowa. So.
Congratulations.
Thank
What
you.
opportunities do you believe the corridor has for you?
There are so many different colleges you're looking at. There's Kirkwood, there's University of Iowa, there's Cornell, there's Cole, Mount Mercer. There's so many colleges within this area that you know, having a master's degree is much needed if you want to move up if I want to be a director and move up throughout the higher education ranks, you have to have a master's degree. So it's something that's needed for me, for myself to, increase professionally. So that's something I have to have.
Knowing millennials' needs and wants is something that Cyrus's manager, John Laverty, knows quite well.
Working at a university like this, there's a lot of different places to draw from. For years, we've been committed to diversity and inclusion in all of our endeavors, looking at students, looking at faculty, looking at staff, and just constantly bringing in information about what people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences need to feel comfortable in Iowa City, Iowa. So we draw upon that, and to draw students to Iowa, it's a natural to maybe look at some of those priorities for drawing new employees to the institution as well.
Are there parallels?
There definitely are parallels. One of the aspects that we hear about all the time from students that are looking from out of state to come here is, where in the world do I get my hair cut?
Yes.
Some of these basic things that we might take for granted, having been raised or grown up or being of the majority population in an area. So simple things like providing lists of hair care places in the community are really important and helpful. Food, there may be different types of food. Our community has all kinds of different markets and restaurants, and even the main grocery stores in our area now have new ethnic food aisles and options, so healthy eating options. So just making sure that new employees, new students, whatever it may be, they understand that these options are here as well. We work with a lot of millennials in our area, and they're looking for things that are fun to do. They obviously, a lot of them are not in maybe a relationship that's permanent yet, so they're interested in finding out what the social scene is and how they connect with others of similar interest and age, so trying to make sure they connect with those things. A lot of them still have a really strong faith background that they're coming from, so students and young employees asking about faith-based opportunities that may be similar to where they came from. And for those that do have a significant other or a significant relationship, I think being intentional about helping them find a place of employment or some opportunities locally that they can come and feel comfortable as well with the new employee. So,
for those millennials who are employees, who are married or have a significant other, how important is that connection for the significant other to the community in order to retain those millennials?
Yeah.
How does that factor in?
It's critical. I think both have to feel welcomed into the community, and as an employer, first of all, you have to understand what those resources are. So a place like the University of Iowa has a dual career network already established, a place that we can direct new employees from whatever background to say, okay, your significant other spouse is looking for a job. There are advisors here, there are listings, there's a proactive approach to trying to help them. So first of all, it just makes them feel at ease, even before they get to the new job, that their significant other will have a place to go and some support there. The other thing, getting involved within the community can be really important. So again, for an employer, just knowing that those resources are there and what they are and how to help proactively direct that new employee to reach out to them. Sometimes that means actually taking the new employee to different offices or to maybe have lunch and meet other people that are those resources for whatever the services may be.
Did you do that with Cyrus in particular? And
I did. Cyrus and I went around to several offices, proactively helped set up some appointments for Cyrus. All of those things help. He was coming from another community, a large educational institution, and again, so he had an understanding of what might be available, but meeting the specific people that could talk to him about his questions that might be related. He's a lot younger than I am. He will be living in this community, and I don't actually live in Iowa City, so those things are important for him to meet people that are right here and know the resources maybe better than I do.
you have any tips for managers who may not have the resources that you all have to help them develop and assimilate and onboard potential employees who can contribute to their bigger picture goals?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is employers need to be out asking questions of those that have already come before. So talking to people from different cultures and backgrounds who have come here and are comfortable and have found success. What did they do, and what else would they wish would have been there? I mean, simple things that we talked about, I mean, hair care being one that comes up all the time.
All the time.
Food, religious activities, connecting with others from similar backgrounds, or experiencing new cultures and experiences. Those are things that can be really simple just to keep a list of, and having some key people in the business or organization that you know are kind of the go-to people that are willing to go that extra step, taking people to church or taking people to meet other people in their network, inviting them to a social activity. Those are key things to make sure that really any of us would want. But it's really important, I think, for those that may be feeling, you know, underrepresented. They don't see as many of themselves in the community, and so it's going that extra mile.
This online database, if you will, that Cyrus mentioned, that's available to anyone, correct?
Absolutely. It's in the admissions website. If you click into diversity or on the University of Iowa A through Z search, just under diversity, and there's a whole plethora of links there to click into all kinds of different organizations and people. But again, I think the key thing is if you start to link into those, you'll see some names, you'll see people that are in leadership roles. Every one of them probably has an email link on there as well. Don't be afraid to just click email and say, hey, I'm new and would love to get together and talk. Most people in Iowa are pretty friendly and would be willing to do that.
Although these thriving business and community leaders of tomorrow are content with their relocation, they do have a few wise suggestions, starting with access to activities.
I think there are a few things being done about this, but letting people know about those opportunities, I think, is something that the corridor could work on. Different ways to make the events and the cultural life of the city more apparent to people, I think, will be helpful.
Accessible, affordable, and attractive rental housing for single professionals is also on the list.
What I felt was missing is my company helped me when I was relocating to find apartments or find a place to stay. But I cannot be relying totally on someone, you know, since they're helping me. But before moving here, I don't know anyone, and I was looking up online, and I had a very tough time finding a place, you know, to get a picture of what a Cedar Rapids is.
If Alliant Energy hadn't been so thorough in their full recruitment process and relocation process for you, would the absence of that information changed your mind about relocating to this area?
Definitely. Maybe not, because there are some other opportunities which I had who are providing me a support move there, because it is really important to provide someone a support to move from a place to place. It is not just about the financial things. There are so many things that needs to be known before moving to a place. So definitely it would have affected my acceptance.
And as far as a central internet hub for newcomer information, think of an online concierge.
Having someone like us, individual coworkers or somewhere general to go to and kind of say, hey, here's where you can find certain things at, you know, whether, like I mentioned earlier, like shopping or you know, nightlife or music or whatever it is, and just kind of, you know, have someone that you can partner with, you know, maybe not like a mentor, but just a partner that you can take with you, show you around the area in terms of housing or, you know, just anything in general. Churches, you know, certain type of church, you know where to find that. Because I didn't know where any, you know, particular church I was looking for. I had to ask around in turn to find something like that for myself. So, you know, maybe just having a central website to go to with general information in terms of what's coming up, what's to come in the city, you know, how far out in advance you want to put that, it all depends, but just kind of a central place and maybe some contacts in local community, barbers, you know, different places. I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, just like maybe like a general website for just new people to the community, I would say would be very helpful.
The brain drain is very real. We need to show the world that we have a vibrant and diverse pulse of life. If we want to attract millennials, then we need to find the resources to make their transition smooth and positive in order to create an experience that exceeds their expectations. And becoming more transparent, more welcoming, and more thorough in our offerings for a variety of lifestyles, the corridor can expect to receive an infusion of human and community capital that will expand our collective successes.